Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another exciting discussion in the woods. Today it is so gorgeous, I don't even have words. I think it's about 8, maybe not quite 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's so beautiful. I think we just heard a beaver splashing around, wanting to play with Giovanni, or actually he wanted to play with her, but we kept going just because, I don't know. Anywho, actually I saw a beaver walking across the road the other day, which is weird. They're usually out at dusk, but she was flapping right, the little tail, like right across the road. Thankfully, it was a slow area and everybody stopped. So anyway, my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am super, super excited to have this talk with you. We're back there right now. It's really cool. Don't let anything worry you. Don't let anything worry you. You're probably saying, oh yeah, you don't know my life. I may not know the context of your life, but I know how the brain works. And the thing is, anxiety, it's kind of like we have it down. We know what it is. We know how it works, and we know where it resides. So the mystery the mystery's solved. We know what it is. So basically, we have to learn how to manage it is the thing. And you're like, duh, I know that, right? Well, how come it's still so hard for me? Well, it's still so hard. And granted, it's complicated. And because we are unique snowflakes, it's not going to look the same on any two people. Just like, anxiety, depression, ADHD, autism, it's all going to look different on different people. And also there's the whole spectrum thing of, a little nervous to can't get out of bed, or out the door to work or school or whatever. So there's going to be a range there. And once again, my disclaimer is none of these videos are meant to take the place of professional treatment. None of them. They're meant to be, informational and hopefully, help some people and definitely go well with therapy. Okay, so here's the thing. Since we know anxiety is a brain thing, that in and of itself is relief, because we know that it's just like if somebody has diabetes or somebody has anything else, that means it's not your fault, right? However, actually, that was a good metaphor or analogy or whatever. Because somebody with diabetes also, it's just, it happened, right? Especially if it's type 1, it's just genetic, right? And anxiety is partially genetic too. And so, but the diabetic has to manage it, right? With good diet and exercise. If they're type 1, they have to do insulin, which is another analogy with some people may need medication in addition to all the strategies and also therapists. That's a really good analogy, actually. But we also don't shame a diabetic, like, loser, what'd you do to your pancreas? How come you're not producing insulin? We wouldn't say, obviously, right? So, and if anything, we are supportive of our family and friends who have diabetes and helping them along the way, just, okay, how about we go here for lunch and you just take it on yourself to go to someplace better? Well, we can also do that with anxiety, to help people shift out of their thinking without it even being obvious. Okay, so here's the thing. Our very high vibe selves, and it's a paradox, because there's like, when we say, oh, I just talked to myself, or what I was thinking about that, there's like a duality, like two of us almost, right? So our high vibe self is always high vibe underneath there. The authentic self, the divine self within us, is at that frequency. So when we're feeling badly, that's the other part of us who's not in alignment with the authentic self, underneath, the real true you, the high vibe true you. And just remember that we do have choice here. Like, oh, you don't know my life. So I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple. It is this simple. We know what anxiety is. We know where it resides. We know what it does. We know how to deal with it. There is no more mystery there. There just isn't. And so it comes down to part of it is to realize and remember that just like out in life, we can make bad choices. We can make bad choices with our thinking, because the brain loves patterns. And so each and every time we allow it to go down a dark hole, it gets more familiar, like a snowball picking up speed. It just gains momentum until it's tougher to stop it, right? And so just like early intervention also in any other way, just like we would say with kids, catching, if we sort of can sniff out autism or ADHD or anxiety, whatever, in a smaller child or a learning difference or whatever, the sooner we get on it, the higher the quality. Oh, somebody's back there. The higher their quality of life, and how things will be easier for them. The earlier we get on it, because then they can learn how to manage whatever it is they have, even if they don't have a label for it, which they don't really need to have it, young. So the same thing with our thinking, early intervention. The sooner we nip it in the bud, the easier it'll be for us. And of course, whatever we practice, we inevitably get better at. Just like practicing the violin or whatever, we say that a lot. Why? Because it's true. So the whole thing is paying attention to how we feel. Paying attention to how we feel, because thoughts come first and feelings come second. So if we're feeling, let's say, unsafe, emotionally unsafe or whatever, emotionally unsafe, what we're really saying is we feel vulnerable. We feel vulnerable. We feel like we're out there, like something, the what if things, all the what if gamut of thinking of this could happen, that could happen, and then we start to create narratives for ourselves, and we play out, whatever worst case scenarios, so that, if whatever happens, then we're ready, like a shortstop in ready position. Okay, and so here's the thing: the sooner we can learn, and it is a learning curve. It's just about like anything else, being in school and getting what the professor or teacher's saying on the board. When we really get it and incorporate it into our lives, things will get easier. So getting it, that these negative feelings are coming from negative thoughts, we can then make better choices about what we're thinking about. And we've got to turn it around, because it's that snowball thing. Remember that about 95 to 96% of what we think, feel, and do every single day is unconscious. So if that worry circuit loop, that what if she says, what if I lose my job? What if I don't get the promotion? What if I don't get the house? What if I can't, what if this date doesn't go well? Okay, the sooner we choose to turn that around, the better. Okay, so it doesn't mean just toss all your emotions aside, because we've got to validate ourselves. But remember, we said that once we validate, just like when I practice mindfulness, if there's an anxious thought that goes by, I will say to myself, oh, it must be I'm feeling anxious today, okay? So what? Who cares? Welcome to the human race. Let it go. And the thing is, or whatever it is, the situation that's whatever happened in your life, at work or whatever, to validate it. But it's really important to not reside there. Okay, this thing happened. So-and-so was on a power trip, said stuff, did stuff. That's about them, not me. And I know I'm making it is simple. I'm not saying that it isn't hurtful. Whatever happened is hard. We're not saying that. Acknowledge that it was hurtful and hard. Then it's important to take your power back, because if you need for things to be okay out here, that means you don't have control over it. We want to take our power back as far as our thinking. We may not be able to actually control who gets what promotion, or who gets and who knows and whose niece got this and whatever. We may not be able to control the outside, right? But we can control how we choose to think about it, because what we think expands. No matter what, it expands. So, and then that leads to the feelings. So the feelings are kind of like a temperature taker or a barometer or something for knowing what's going on in the cabeza. How we feel is the direct sort of side effect of what's going on in here. So we don't have to, we can stop ourselves from worrying. Again, complicated, though this is the truth. This is the facts. We are not our thoughts. They're like little thought bubbles until we reside there. Then we become what we think. So it's kind of like, it sounds like, oh, she's saying two different things. No, I'm not, because feelings aren't facts. So those feelings we're feeling are indicating what our thoughts are. But all the what ifs of, I might not get this, I might not get the promotion, none of that's factual. It's just this monkey chatter going on in the limbic system of the brain, which is where anxiety, the worry circuit, resides. So when we talk back to that, picture ourselves with the best case scenario. We just have to keep at it, kind of like just keep at it, like good old-fashioned grit, and picture yourself in a better situation. We can actually consciously choose our thoughts. So if we're not feeling well, we're in that place of fear, it's because it's because we're not making good choices about our thinking. Again, I'm not saying hard things in life. Obviously, hard things in life happen. So this will depend on where that is on the spectrum, right? For most things, for most regular daily things that are not emergencies, this knowledge will help. For most things, this will help. Obviously, gigantic things and all that are a little bit, need a little bit, are a lot more attention. This is about realizing that our thoughts expand. We can make better choices with our thinking.